Kelly, when I'm looking at companies that are helping in Ukraine, I have a list of not only companies that are stepping up in the cybersecurity space, but also companies that are helping with transportation, wages, in addition to food and helping get supplies there to the people who desperately need it. When I'm looking at cybersecurity overall, I think that's a great place to start just because not only has this been an issue in the past and it's going to be an issue in the future. What's really unfortunate about what's happening in Ukraine is that people are taking advantage of this situation. They're taking advantage of NGOs, they're taking advantage of charities, and powerful companies both in the US and worldwide, specifically Microsoft, Amazon, and Cloudflare, are using their capabilities right now to help those people in need just because they want to.
So it's kind of the opposite for let's take the defense trade, which is a trade that basically people say, okay, well, I'm jumping into something that will basically do well if this situation continues to deteriorate. You're saying look at some of the companies that could help ameliorate the situation, Tesla coming to mind. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Because see, the fact of the matter is that yes, you can short the NASDAQ and yes, you can buy the war stocks. Those are ways that we can make money right now. But I have been hearing from investors that they just don't feel right coming in and shorting the market and taking advantage of all the pain and suffering. And what they want to do is they want to look for ways that they can invest in companies that are actually out there helping. Tesla is a great example, and I do believe that Elon Musk really spearheaded this effort because, historically, Kelly, private companies don't like to take positions when events like this occur because they don't want to alienate any of their customer base. But Elon Musk was one of the first CEOs that came out and said that he was going to use his companies, both SpaceX and SpaceX and Tesla via Starlink, to help those in Ukraine. So with Starlink in particular, he came out, he said that he was going to provide Starlink terminals so that those in Ukraine could get access to communications and the internet. Now, Tesla, on the other hand, even though they don't have a presence in Ukraine in particular, they do have Tesla owners and they do have Tesla charging stations in the countries surrounding Ukraine. So he has opened up those charging stations so that not just Tesla owners, but also all EV owners can get free charging so that they're able to flee what's going on currently. These are things he didn't have to do, and it has started a movement with other private companies.
So let's talk as well about a group of names more in the cybersecurity kind of space here. Cloudflare, Amazon, Microsoft. What makes these stand out to you as investments where people could, have exposure to kind of them trying to do the right thing in this environment?
So, it is partly wanting to do the right thing, but it is also about the fact that these are strong companies. And part of the reason why they're helping is because they can, because they have the resources, because they have the talent. When you're looking at Microsoft, most people wouldn't think of it as a cybersecurity company, but the president right now, Brad Smith, he has started an initiative where he's working on putting $20 billion of investment over the course of the next 5 years into the cybersecurity space. And what's really interesting about this is he's not just investing in Microsoft. He's really trying to spearhead an effort of education. He's trying to point out the fact that this is a very growing industry that we need more educated people in. And he's working to use the platform that he has to not only educate cybersecurity people within the U.S., but also within Ukraine. They've published a variety of blogs to help people in Ukraine to effectively, ward off cyber attacks.
Yeah. And for the traders who are looking at these opportunities, you're saying there is a lot of long-term brand awareness, just like for Airbnb, another stock you mentioned, that could be created here by these efforts, kind of a halo effect from now on. Let's end with McDonald's, which is getting a lot of investor concern right now over what the next few years are going to look like without the Russia revenue that they were previously expecting. But you think some of their efforts in Ukraine could be a boon?
Yes. So when you look at a McDonald's chart, absolutely, it's been falling. But the fact of the matter is that McDonald's, just like these others, they are strong companies. Microsoft, Amazon, McDonald's, they've done really well in earnings. McDonald's in particular, they have a strong dividend. While it's falling right now, I do believe it's going to hold around the $200 price point, which still gives it a little bit more downside. But when this news wanes off, I believe that McDonald's is going to recover. I mean, right now, what they're doing is they are assisting, through their Ronald McDonald House in Poland and Ukraine, boots on the ground, getting people the supplies and refugees the help that they need. And they're also continuing to pay their employees, not just in Ukraine and in Russia. And investors will look at this and they'll say, wow, that's going to impact earnings. And on every single one of these, that is the truth. But these companies would also not be doing that if they couldn't handle it. And the same goes for Airbnb.
It's a great point. No, Danielle, we appreciate it. Again, with a basket of plays here for people who want to approach this differently. We appreciate your time.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.